Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
The man without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder, a nothing, a no man. Have a purpose in life, and having it throws such strength of mind and muscle into your work as God has given you. Good words. Great words. Thank you very much. And right now, here comes Kate Smith. And God bless America. I want a patriot to call in with our Pledge of Allegiance this morning. Come on, get on the phone. Have a great day. Oh, I love that song and the way she sings it. Thank you very much, Kate Smith, and God bless America. Good morning and welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and along with some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal, getting rid of your garbage, 734-6969. Right now, let's go to the phone lines, and good morning to a patriot.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, that was a good job, sir. Thank you, Jerry. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
And you have a wonderful day, and may the Lord bless you and all your young kids that are out there listening.
All right. Hey, thanks, Jerry. I appreciate it. My goodness, it's time right now for the weather forecast. And the weather brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. They've got so many great ideas. Have you ever thought about hanging a pot holder or adding a hanging pot holder to your kitchen? Kitchens are meant to be warm and inviting, and you spend a lot of time in the kitchen, so make it kind of dressed up and looking a little bit more friendly. Hanging pot rack is really elegant, and it looks nice for everybody. So be sure and get more tips from Cheney Flooring and Home Design. They have whatever you need to make your house a home. 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Number to call 678-6945. Look for the blue door. All your carpet, flooring, kitchen construction, they have it at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Enjoy today because it looks like we've got a storm system that's going to be sticking around for most of the weekend. Of course, today, mostly sunny skies, slightly breezy. High of 63 with an overnight low of 39 tomorrow as we get ready to walk on into the weekend. Looks like afternoon rain showers are in the forecast. Wind's going to be picking up to about 20 miles an hour. High of 60 with an overnight low of 40. Saturday, afternoon rain showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast. High of 62 with an overnight low of 41. And then for Sunday, partly cloudy, but it is going to be windy. High of 63 with an overnight low of 40. And then as we go back to work on Monday, of course, wouldn't you know, it's going to be nice. Mostly sunny skies, high of 67, possibly 73 for next Tuesday. Yesterday's high was 57. The overnight low was 41. That is your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you very much. Brought to everybody by Cheney Flooring and Home Design. 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Really nice people. You know, we're going to talk about the sale right now. Merv May, come on in here and sell some cattle.
All right. right, it gets the steer calves here to $1.31, $1.31.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Sale day today at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call for consignment and sale information, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade Rogge, Lance Udy at the sale that works for you. Sale time this morning at 10:30. The Morris Ranch over to Park Valley is going to bring in 25 head of real good calves. Bob Park of Malta bringing in 25 to 30 head of calves. And Kelly Searle of Burley bringing in 30 head of 7 to 800 pound heifers. They're going to have butcher cows coming in from the P-Bar S Dairy in Malta, Acme Dairy in Oakley, and TLK Dairy in Mountain Home. And as I said, a good line of trailers coming in there to unload their cattle for this sale today, starting at 10:30 at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Sale time 10:30. Number to call 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, it gets the steer calves here to $1.31, $1.31, $1.32, $2.5, $3.5, $1.34, $4.5, $5.5, $1.35, $50, $1.35, $7.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
I appreciate it, Merv. Thank you very much. Hey, I got a couple of notes here.
I'll put you back.
Let's go. Come on. I'm back on the air, I hope. You know, we have had this trouble for the last couple of days, and I don't know why we're getting cut off or what's happening, but we'll talk to the engineer after the program this morning and have them get with it and find out why. And I want to remind you that the Cassia County Forum Republican ticket is going to be at the Burley High School Theater tonight at, what time are they going to start? I think it's 7 p.m. That's tonight, and Doug Pickett is the Cassia County chairman. You can call him and ask for more information at 300-3387. And don't forget, next week on Thursday, May 5th, the Minidoka County Republican Meet the Candidate Night will be at the Wilson Theater, starting at 6 o'clock with a meet and greet, and the forum starts at 7 p.m. Other notes that I'd like to make before we get cut off again, don't forget to re-elect Jay Heward for Cassia County Sheriff. Born and raised in Burley, went to Burley High School and Idaho State University, and has been in the police work for over 36 years. Has a knowledge of the job through a lot of years of experience and hard work, and he wants to work again for you. Jay knows his job and his constitutional responsibilities, so don't forget, May 17th, vote for Jay Heward, a sheriff you can depend on in any circumstance. Paid for by the re-elect Jay Heward for Cassia County Sheriff Committee, Steve Westfall, Treasurer. Also want to remind you about going to vote on May 17th, primary election day, and on behalf of Senator Kelly Anthon, Representative Fred Wood, and the Speaker of the House, Scott Bedke, don't forget May 17th. Put it on your calendar and go vote. You know, voting is a right and a responsibility of each and every one of us, and be sure and take your picture ID. Be proud of who you are when you vote on May 17th, paid for by Senator Kelly Anthon, Representative Fred Wood, and Speaker Scott Bedke. Don't forget that. We have a busy morning, and I don't have time for any more being cut off the air. I don't know what the problem is, but I hope it gets fixed. I'm not a happy camper over that. And we're going to have at about 30 minutes from right now, we're expecting a call from United States Senator Mike Crapo. And with limited time, I'm sorry, I don't have time for outside questions. I do have some very pertinent questions to ask him, so be sure and stay tuned for that. We have a birthday that's going to take place tomorrow, and I want to wish a very happy birthday to the senior citizens version and the old McDonald Had a Farm version of Tiger Wood and, like I said, Old MacDonald. And that goes to Larry Hudig. He is going to be a much older person tomorrow, and that is his birthday. So happy birthday, Larry. I know you're sitting in your rocking chair, sipping your tea. Have a nice day tomorrow. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. Oh, my. I was in there for lunch bunch last week along with all the lunch bunchers, and I had that prime rib omelet. Oh, my goodness, that is delicious. You're going to love it. You're going to love all the food there. Of course, I am partial to breakfast. I love breakfast. You can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner all the time, anytime at America's Diner. It's tremendous, and the service is great. Nice people. 611 Overland in Burley and 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant. You stop in and see them today. And again, another thank you goes out to Ramsey Heating and Electric. I want to say how much I appreciate them being on the program. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call is 678-0459. They're opening the doors at 7:30 in the morning till 5 Monday through Friday. All your heating, cooling, and electric needs are right there at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Be sure and stop by, where they can always provide warm winters and cool summers. There is a new movie coming out, and the star, and I use that term loosely, Will Ferrell. I don't like the guy. I'm sorry, there's many people that think Will Ferrell is so funny, and he's such a great comedian, and he is from Saturday Night Live fame, and he's had quite a few movies. And a lot of people think, oh my goodness, I just rolled over laughing. Well, I didn't at all. Yeah, he had a movie about NASCAR about 5 years ago, and for the life of me, I can't think of the name of that movie. It just, that shows how important it was to me. And I got up in the middle of the movie and walked out. I was in Dallas, Texas, and I was announcing the Youth World Quarter Horse Finals, and I had an evening off, and I just decided to go to a movie, and I went to that and walked out in the middle of the movie. It was one of the sickest, most unfunny movies I've ever seen. Well, now he is coming out with a movie about Ronald Reagan suffering from Alzheimer's. And it's a comedy. Now, I know that there's the right of free speech that I argue for every day on this program, and the right of free expression. But you know, in decency and what's really good for the community and others, don't you have to draw the line someplace? A comedy about Ronald Reagan suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia? I find that to be the least of humorous subjects. And Will Ferrell, I wish you nothing but bad luck and a box office flop. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Cutting Edge Curbing, 424 16th Street in Rupert, 808-3360, the number to call. And they have this curbing that will absolutely add beauty and value to your property. Oh my! They've got it in the slant and the mower's edge and the square or the dome top in different colors and different stamping. You're going to love it. It is beautiful. In high or semi-gloss coating, you're going to love it for protection. Call Sarah or Mike Baxter. Get an estimate right now at 808-3360, Cutting Edge Curbing. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What do you think about making a movie about a past extremely likable and well-loved President Ronald Reagan, and it centers around his suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia, and it's supposed to be a comedy? Let me know. Don't forget Menacassia Sales with Zach and the crew at 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. And they've got all your lumber packages, and they've got all your roofing, your shingles, and your western windows that can keep the cold out in the winter and keep the heat out in the summer. I'll tell you what, they do a great job. Zach and the rest of the crew over there at Menacassia Sales, sponsoring Dr. History on Tuesdays at 10:06. Wonderful people serving you in Burley, right across from the airport. Stop in and see Menacassia Sales. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Deb. And I have to agree with you about Will Ferrell. And maybe it's not entirely his fault, but he could have refused the role. But I think Ronald Reagan was the greatest president in my time. And I defend him to the ends of the earth because I think he did a good job.
Well, that is
a disgusting thought.
That's irrelevant to this point, Keith, as to whether you like Reagan or you didn't like Reagan, or whether he did a good job or a bad job. What is really relevant in this type of a movie is that it could have been about Jimmy Carter and his bout with cancer. I did not like Jimmy Carter. I think he is, beside Barack Obama, one of the top two worst presidents that we've ever had. But to make a movie about somebody's suffering and somebody's demise, I think that's absolutely low class when it comes to making it a comedy.
Well, I think they should boycott a movie like that, or I don't know if it's going to be a TV movie or it's going to be in the theaters or what. Well,
it's going to be a theater movie, and I'm telling you, I'm asking for a complete box office flop.
Well, all we can do is hope for these things, but these people in Hollywood, incidentally, they were showing the pictures of all of these Hollywood stars and everything that said they would move out of the country if it came to pass that Donald Trump was elected as president. And Sean Hannity said right on the air, I will personally pay for their plane ticket and everything out of this country if they promise never to come back.
Well, I said this a long time ago. I'm not trying to play the holy eye here, but I said it a long time ago about Sean Penn. I find Sean Penn an actor, if you will, out of Hollywood. When he went to visit some of our arch enemies, I said, I'd be more than happy to contribute money right now for his staying there or his ticket back there, one way to stay there forever. I would absolutely like to see these people leave. If they hate America so bad, and they hate the situation, and they hate our politics, and they hate the way this country was founded, let them go, baby. I'm ready to put some money in and make sure they don't come back.
Good idea, but all these people that have said this before, movie stars, I don't think even one of them has ever left the country other than to visit.
Yeah, well, I wish, wishing in one hand and you know what in the other doesn't get you very far, but I'll tell you what, I wonder how many will really hold up to their words. Keith, good to hear from you this morning. I got to get a commercial in. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You're probably saying, well, Zeb, you're sure doing a lot of commercials in a row. Yeah, I have to, because we're, like I said, in about 20 minutes, expecting United States Senator Mike Crapo. Don't forget, but I'm going to take some time for your call, so give me a call right now. What do you think about making a movie, a comedy, no less, about Ronald Reagan suffering from Alzheimer's? Oh, how despicable and disrespectful. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Yes, I'll give you the number right now because I want you to call and make an appointment. 678-1191. 678-1191. They can and will help you to get back to feeling like you. They know all the exercises. I know they put me through the gamut. They know all the sports medicine. They've got the hydrotherapy pool with the treadmill. They are the best, bar none. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. 678-1191. You call them today. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Barry Equipment and Rental. We're going to have old Eli on the phone with us a little bit later on this morning. They've got 3 locations, South Lincoln and Jerome, and Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and West Highway 30 in Burley. Yeah, buddy. And they've got all the Bobcats. Check them out. Special prices and great financing on the rental units, too. And check out the skid steer loaders. All the equipment to get the job done right. Barry Equipment and Rental in Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Caller, thank you. Go ahead.
Kind of a sick mind would take a tragedy and try and turn it into a comedy.
That's the whole point, Doug. That's the whole point. What kind of a sick mind would do something like that and then call it comedy, call it humor? And honestly, these are the kind of creeps that are giving Hollywood and art of movie making a bad name.
Yes. Yes, it is. And I pray for them. And like I've said in the past, God have mercy on us.
Well, some people in this country are almost beyond hope. There's so many more in Hollywood that I could mention. There are so many more sick souls that absolutely have demented themselves to go to the far left. I think that pit of snakes over there, with the exception of some, and there are some really good people in Hollywood that have stood up and said no. One of them being a friend of mine that I'm proud to say, I think he's been standing up for our guns, our Second Amendment, and that's Tom Selleck.
Yes.
What's
him and that Denisa, that TV star that helps the wounded warriors, has a band and does the benefits?
Gary Sinise. Yes.
We need more like him.
Absolutely. Have you got a bird in the background?
No, got a clock ticking in here, I guess.
Oh, well, I heard something whistling in the background like a parrot or a parakeet, and I thought, when did you get a bird?
Well, I've got 2 cats and a dog just as well.
Oh, so the cat's whistling for the dog so he can whoop up on him, huh?
Yeah, have a gang up on him.
Hey, God bless you, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
All righty.
Have a great day.
You too. Caller number 2, you're on the air. Go ahead quickly.
Yeah, but real quickly, you know, I come from a military family, and what you got me thinking about is I had odd feelings about when I'd watch McHale's Navy, Good Morning Vietnam. We've lost a lot of sons and daughters in these wars, and we don't need to make a mockery out of it. And or a president.
Well, Earl, let me play a little devil's advocate with you real quick. Going back to McHale's Navy, okay? Ernest Borgnine starring as McHale. Never once in the series, never once did they do anything that would denigrate the flag, that would denigrate any of the soldiers, their lives, their blood, sweat, and tears. It kind of showed, and you know this is true because I've checked with some people in the military. There were commanders that were not very well thought of, and they were kind of buffoons, and then there were people like McHale that had an ongoing daily battle with them. But when it come to service on that comedy on television, the PT boat was ready to sail, PT-73, to defend our country. So I think there was a humor there in the story, but they never denigrated the United States.
Well, even with Dad, this would have been in about 1938, prior to the war. Dad was a boilerman on the Saratoga. They went out for war games off the coast of San Diego there, and Halsey was the captain on that ship, or I think it was before he was an admiral. And
okay.
He calls into shore and says he's ready for his war games. Well, he hadn't called in the planes. At that time, they had to fly the planes into the ship, and the planes weren't on the ship yet.
Uh-huh.
That's another little story coming from somebody.
Well, I don't mean to rush you along, but I got to do a break, but I want to end it on this, Earl. You are right that there has been, in my case, I agree with you, too much satire and minimizing the importance and the value and the absolute giving of blood, sweat, and tears for our country, and I sometimes think they minimize it. But in a movie like this, where they're making fun of a past president that was so loved in this country and turn it into a comedy, I have no time with this, and I'm going to denigrate it every time I get a chance.
I'm with you there on that, Zeb. It just, I think you know what I'm trying to get across here.
I do, sir, and enjoy your day. God bless you, and thanks for your call.
Thank you, Zeb.
Thank you, sir. I got to get a couple of quick notes in here real quick. Minidoka County Sheriff Eric Snar running for re-election, a working sheriff, and I mean that, out in the field doing any job necessary, and he would appreciate your vote on May 17th. His promise is to do his best for you each and every day at his office and make our community safer. And the message is there, re-elect Minidoka County Sheriff Eric Snar on May 17th, paid for by the Re-elect Eric Snar Committee, Jason Gibbons, Secretary. And let's see, what else have I got to tell you about here this morning? Oh, yes. Let's not forget Tim Darrington is running for Cassia County Commissioner, District 3, a lifelong resident of Cassia County, as a farmer and a rancher, and believe me, he's wanting to help the direction that Cassia County is going in the future. He wants to provide good roads, safe environment, and a good quality of life, and he encourages job opportunities and new industry and smart growth. So don't forget, vote for Tim Darrington, Cassia County Commissioner, District 3, paid for by the Darrington for Commissioner, Gail Erickson, Treasurer. And one more item before I take some more of your phone calls. Woo, am I busy this morning? I'll tell you what, I'm working up a case to where I need to buy some more deodorant. I want to remind you about Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. If you're not hearing everything, and you should be, you better get a hold of Dr. Christine Pickup at Mount Harrison Audiology. There are so many things that she knows about the hearing and the structure of the ear and what might be a problem and how it can be alleviated. Don't wait. Call the number 312-0957. They're located across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, 312-0957. All right, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I absolutely about fell out of my chair when I saw this video, and it has gone online to the point where it's just exploded in popularity. A young blonde girl, approximately 24, 25, right in that area, by the name of Alexis Bloomer from Austin, Texas, made a video that, like I said, has gone ballistic. Now, what's the video about? You're not going to believe this. We condemn the millennials, but oh my goodness, this young lady said, over a happenstance that occurred at a department store not too many days ago, when she was walking in the store, she saw an older gentleman, probably in his early 80s, struggling to get the door open, and two millennials about her age, she said, brushed past this older gentleman, opened the door for themselves, and walked in and let the door close on this gentleman. She went back to her car, and she made a video while she was sitting in her car, and she said how sorry, listen carefully to this because this is important. She said how sorry she was for her and her age bracket acting in such a childish, selfish, and non-caring manner. She said that people her age are totally disrespectful, totally degrading of the older generation and what they've been given and how they're approaching the fact that there's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to give them everything. She said that millennials have an absolutely asinine attitude of gimme, 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 and they, the millennials, this is the girl talking, not Zeb Bell right here, they have made no contributions to their community or their society, and they should be ashamed for being so lazy and selfish. Holy cow. This video has just absolutely had hit after hit after hit after hit. And she was on television this morning. She was interviewed. We need more young people like her. More that can see the forest and not be blinded by one tree standing in the way. I have said on this program for a long time that there are a lot of great younger people. I know many of them. But you know, in general, the millennial attitude, gimme, 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 I want free education, I don't want to pay for it, I want this, I want that. And they've absolutely shown no responsibility in their very selfish, lazy attitudes. God bless Alexis Bloomer from Austin, Texas, for having the courage to speak up and tell it like it is. Don't forget Maisie Penetron Soil Conditioner by Maisie, with a 22-year proven record of increasing yield and quality of all Idaho crops. Oh my goodness, speeding germination, reducing crusting, improving stand, stimulating root growth and microbial activity, and helping build soil structure, and using less water, which is another money saving in your pocket. Now listen. Penetron treated crops have better roots that reduce stress for water and nutrients and help grow and increase your crop's performance. With a proven soil conditioner, Penetron by Maisie. Get the original, not the cheap imitations. You be sure and get a hold of your crop advisor today for Penetron by Maisie, or call Adrian Arp at 734-2255 for more information. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I listened with great interest to Donald Trump yesterday. Now, here's where you and I might have a difference of opinion, and I welcome your calls. I listened to Donald Trump yesterday as he gave his first major presidential-type speech on security. Some of you won't like what I'm about to say. Some of you will. He did a doggone good job. It was a straight-on speech. And I would say at least 85% of it was what we need to do now as a country, and what we should have been doing for the last wasted 7.5 years with this absolutely ridiculous, do-nothing Obama administration. Then last night, Donald Trump was in a town hall meeting with Donald Trump was in a town hall meeting last night that was also televised on the Greta Van Susteren program. Now, for those of you that saw it, I really want you to call in, because the program, I thought, had people getting up in the audience asking very direct questions. Many of the people were not Donald Trump voters, were not Donald Trump supporters, and were uncommitted as to whether they were going to vote for Cruz or Kasich or whatever. But I thought, and again, I'm not a Trump supporter yet, but I thought absolutely he gave very direct and very thought-out answers. And what was really interesting last night, and added a little bit of levity, but also some needed humor in this response, with him on the stage last night endorsing him was great basketball coach, epic basketball coach, Bobby Knight from Indiana. Whether you like Bobby Knight or not. And some of his mannerisms and some of the things he did in his career were not very likable by the American public. But he tells it as it is. That's the one thing I like about Bobby Knight more than anything else. He tells it like it is. And a World War II veteran got up last night, a very nice gentleman, stood up at the podium by the microphone, and he asked the question about America coming back and being great again. Donald Trump answered his part of the question first, and then he deferred it over to Bobby Knight. And Bobby said that he and Donald Trump were a lot alike. He said, we will beat your blank any way we can to win and make America better. I loved it. The crowd loved it. It was a great, great response. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Come on, give me a call. If you saw that, I'd like to hear what your response is. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Oh, boy, they've got the home comfort systems, gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps that they can offer rebates on. Yes, that's right. Call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. You give them a call today, please. I think what we're going to do, if there's a call waiting, I'll take it. If not, I think what we're going to do to be in preparation for our senator to call, I'm going to do the weather forecast real quick. And I want to say thank you to Scott Gano, Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Man, this guy and his staff, they know trees, they know bushes, they know sprinkler systems. I mean, you got to have the proper pruning on your trees. And Scott, I mean, my gosh, he was born, instead of with a spoon, he was born with a little miniature tree in the crib, and he knows all about trees. All about trees. So be sure and get a hold of them today. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service. Number to call, 431-8733. Caller, I'll be right with you. Stand by. Here's Gina with the weather.
Enjoy today because it looks like we've got a storm system that's going to be sticking around for most of the weekend. Of course, today, mostly sunny skies, slightly breezy. High of 63 with an overnight low of 39. Tomorrow, as we get ready to walk on into the weekend, looks like afternoon rain showers are in the forecast. Wind's going to be picking up to about 20 miles an hour. High of 60 with an overnight low of 40. Saturday, afternoon rain showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast. High of 62 with an overnight low of 41. And then for Sunday, partly cloudy, but it is going to be windy. High of 63 with an overnight low of 40. And then as we go back to work on Monday, of course, wouldn't you know, it's going to be nice. Mostly sunny skies, high of 67, possibly 73 for next Tuesday. Yesterday's high was 57. The overnight low was 41. That is your weather for Zeb Duran.
Excellent job, Gina. Thank you very much, Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, your sponsor of the weather this hour. Number to call for great service to you on your trees and your sprinkler systems, 431-8733. Caller, real quick, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. It's free lunch day for two seniors that have never been to the Golden Heritage Senior Center. And I got a couple moving the last time I offered, and I'm looking for two today.
All right, Joe Taylor, dear friend, is offering 2 free lunch tickets.
Oh, the turkey dinner.
Okay, well, anybody that has never been there before, take Joe up on his offer. 2 free lunch tickets today at the Golden Heritage. Joe, God bless you again.
When you check in with Sharon, just tell her you want to take advantage of old Joe.
Okay, Joe, thank you so much. God bless you, my friend.
Have a good one.
All right, sir, thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. You know, yesterday morning I was taking a friend of mine to the hospital in Twin, and we listened to that speech on the way down, and I was thinking, man, how great that sounded. I haven't heard a politician talk good about our country and use sensible language for so many years. I've almost forgot what it sounded like. I didn't say anything to my friend about that, but at the end of the speech, when we almost got to the hospital, he said, you know, Jerry, that just almost makes me proud of America again. I just feel so good that somebody has something good to say about this country. And I believe that he'll do what he says he's going to try and do.
I agree with you, and I listened to it in its entirety. And to be honest with you, Jerry, these are things that should have been said by Obama and done by Obama in the last 7.5 years.
Well, all I've got to say is if he keeps talking like that, if you're patriotic at all and you love this country at all, and you don't think everything's horrible and bad and awful and worse than worse, you're going to have respect for our president again.
Jerry, I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you. God bless you for your call. Thank you so much.
You have a great day. May the Lord bless.
He already has. Thank you, sir. Hey, don't forget the Hats Off to Simplicity Women's Seminar. It's going to start in about 45 minutes at 9:30 at the Best Western Burley Inn. And lunch will be served at 11:30 to 1:30. You don't want to miss this, ladies. They've got all kinds of vendors, all kinds of booths, all kind of great speakers, sponsored in part by the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Oh, yes. Hats Off to Simplicity. It starts in about 45 minutes at the Best Western Burley Inn. We are waiting patiently for United States Senator Mike Crapo to give us a call, and as is normal with Mike, he's probably running down the halls of Congress right now, or in the Senate, I should say, and with his cell phone in hand, ready to give us a jingle, and we're going to talk to him about some of the issues that are really hot-button issues this morning in the news, and also I'm going to try, if we have time to get in, to answer some of the response to Trump's speech and also that town hall last night. Wheels, has he called in yet?
No, sir, he hasn't.
Ooh, I'm getting nervous. So in the interim, I'll remind you that the Relay for Life, the Minnecasia Relay for Life, is going to take place on June 18th at the Burley High School football field. And the theme this year for the Relay for Life is going to be, May the Cure Be With You. And the folks that are involved in the Relay for Life have really put together another great format for this year, and we ask you to be a part of it and support it. The Minnecasia Relay for Life, fighting cancer at the Burley High School football field, and that's going to be on June the 18th. Once again, waiting patiently for United States Senator Mike Crapo to give us a call and finish out this hour for this morning. And in the interim, if you want to give us a call, please do so at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I'm almost a little hesitant to try to get into another story, but a short story that you probably may or maybe you didn't hear of yesterday. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Is this United States Senator Mike Crapo?
No, it is not.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Keith. Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say something about politically correct. How many people really want to be politically correct? I don't. I want to tell the story the way it is, not what sounds the best. And that's what Donald Trump has done since the day he announced his presidential run. And he said some things that ordinary politicians would have been blown out of the water, but he bounces back every time. So what is wrong with saying what is right?
You know, at first when Trump threw his hat in the ring, I was very tentative, and I didn't think he did a job of really addressing issues in a way of using verbiage that was not going to be so offensive to both sides of the aisle. And as time has progressed, I have seen a transition in this man. And last night, or I should say yesterday afternoon, listening to that security speech for our United States of America, I did not hear the same person that threw his hat in the ring many, many months ago. I saw a man that is committed to being president. I heard a man that really was aware of the issues. And then when I watched him last night on that town hall meeting, I've got to tell you, if he is the nominee, I will support him.
I'm with you all the way on that, Zed, because I listened to that also, and I kind of got goosebumps sometimes when he would, really tell it the way it is as far as protecting our country and our interests. This man, he has all the money that he would ever need in the world, so money is not an issue for him. He really believes he can make America great again, and I think we need to get behind him.
I agree with you, and Keith, I always appreciate your calls. God bless you, man. Thanks. Have a great day.
You bet.
Thank you. Once again, I'm a little bit miffed here. I called Mike Crapo's office earlier this morning and talked to one of the liaisons in Washington, D.C., and they absolutely assured me that Mike would be on the line with us this morning, and I don't know what happened, but in the interim, please give me a call at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You want another story that will, and I should back up a little bit. This story made me so mad, absolutely furious, but now we have a caller that will take our fury out on the caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You walked in the radio and you were talking about Donald Trump and his speech, and I was always been a Ted Cruz supporter because I really believe the way he acted and filibustered and everything. However, Trump is ahead, and he's got the votes. And the way he talked, I got a good, strong feeling that he will, just like you said and your other callers, he will do what he can to do right by America. He can't be bought. He can't, so what do we have to lose by putting somebody in who's a good businessman and someone who's willing to stand up for America?
And right now, I am so absolutely incensed with anger against the administration that we have now. They haven't done anything for your security or your family's security. They haven't done anything as far as a government administration to try to enhance the economy. They haven't done anything to make sure that we're going to be looking at a better, more progressive lifestyle with better things for the future. They haven't done anything to wave the flag that says, hey, America, we're proud of you, now please work with us. They haven't done any of that. This Obama administration has been the biggest joke, and nobody's laughing, that we've ever had in the White House.
There are no arguments there. In fact, we were talking last night. We had some friends, my wife and I had some friends come over, and we were visiting with them about it. And in my 35 years, I have never seen such division amongst people in my entire life. I'm fairly young, don't get me wrong, but it seems like every time I turn around, you hear inciting riots, people inciting riots, black people Black Lives Matter trying to stir up some kind of ruckus over here, over there, and breaking up political rallies, and, you can't, that's why I guess is what it's bothering me is, it doesn't matter who you are or what your background is, you can be friends. Other than now, it seems like, fights are trying to get started between everybody.
Yeah, I agree with you.
One person, it's everybody. You have 5 people in a room, and all 5 people hate each other.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I'm getting.
The divisiveness in this country under Obama is far, far worse. And as far as racial relations are concerned in this country, I look at Obama and I point my finger right at him and I say, you're the man that is responsible for all this turmoil. Riley, I appreciate you. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Have a good one. Bye.
All right. Hey, I don't know what happened, and
but the 866 number is not accepting. So
okay, now Deanne just told me, be aware of this over at the station wheels. Get on the microphone here real quick. Is there a problem with the 866 number? They've been trying to call and they say it's busy. Is there someone on that line?
No, sir. There's nobody on that line.
They're going to try calling it. They're going to do what?
The 436.
They're going to try the 436-2244 number, so be aware of that.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll give a quick commercial, and the commercial, of course, is for our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and service is the key word. They have all of the tires that you need for safe driving with your car, pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, whatever, and very convenient credit terms available for you. Stop in and check out many of the tires that are on sale prices right now, including the Ultra C900. Oh my goodness, all-season design and up to an 80,000-mile warranty depending on your driving conditions. Check that out along with absolutely the best brake value promise in the industry. Professionally trained technicians serving you. Front-end alignment, shocks and struts, the best in battery stories, all of this and more with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Any word at all, Wheels, on our watch line or the direct line?
No, sir. The phones haven't lit up at all.
Okay, well, I don't understand unless they thoroughly don't have the right number, and I can't imagine that. They've called it many, many times in the past. Call them back, Deanne, and let them know that maybe they're dialing the wrong number. We are, like I said, waiting for Senator Mike Crapo, and it doesn't look like we're going to have any time available for this segment. Very unfortunately. I'm upset about it, as you may have been able to tell, because I had some very important questions regarding not only the current status of what's going on in the GOP, but also about Obama's administration, North Korea, illegal aliens, and many other things that I wanted to address with him, but it doesn't look like we're going to have that time this morning. So I apologize. I had nothing to do with it, and we'll try during the news to find out exactly what happened to our guest. Coming up next hour, we have, of course, the Chamber Report at 9:06, and then at 9:12, we're going to have Kyle James on the phone with us from Urgent Care of Twin Falls, Jerome, and Burley. 9:23, Dog Nation with Ken Morton. Then at 9:30, we're going to have the lovely Rita Ramsey right here on our program. And, boy, then next hour, we're also going to have the hour afterwards, I should say, our third hour. We're going to have Cache County School Days. Dusty Fisher is going to be with us. And then at 10:30 this morning, don't forget our Second Amendment. And Ryan Horsley from Red's Trading Post. Always very interesting. I think that's going to wrap it up for me this hour, and we're going to go find out exactly what happened on the Senator Crapo call, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes because Wheels has this good word, and then he's going to take us up to CBS News. Yeah, just back up slowly and try to get out of its way. I'll remember that. Fat guy on crutches. Oh, the bear says lunch. Good morning and welcome back. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and service is the key. Thank you very much. Along with some of our great advertisers like Western Way Services, here they are. You know, I want to talk to you a little bit about that route service because both Deanne and I have been on the route service for a long, long time. And the Western Way service trucks show up right on time, all the time, once a week, and get rid of our garbage. It's gone. You give them a call, 734-6969. That number again, 734-6969, because they are locally owned and operated and always at your disposal. Western Way Services, you get a hold of them today. We've got a couple of announcements that I've got to take care of here real quick. I want to remind you on Monday, don't forget Vicky's Country Garden at 9:16. We have Gardening for Idiots program named after me. I'm learning. I'm getting to be a better gardener, however. Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Number to call, 438-5663 for all your gardening needs, landscaping needs. Don't forget Vicky's Country Garden. And I also have these 2 quick messages before we go over to K.A. Cameron. Don't forget Scott Yates running for Cache County Sheriff. He's a candidate this year for the Cache County Sheriff position, and he'd like to be serving you and representing the residents of Cache County. He's a taxpayer and employer, and he wants everyone to be productive and support those that want to be very productive. And he says he has a different equation for equality. Less crimes, less people in jail equals a more productive community. And he wants your vote on May 17th. Scott Yates for Cassia County Sheriff, paid for by the Yates for Cassia County Sheriff Committee, Julie Jaime, the treasurer. And while we have just a moment, also, I want to remind you about Shirley Halford Hubbard, Cassia County Commissioner for District 3, wants your vote. That's right. She wants to run for that position. And she said we need to address the younger generation and get them more active in the leadership and promotion of our county. And she said she wants to work to preserve agriculture and make sure it prospers in each community in Cassia County. Don't forget, when you go to the polls on May 17th, if you want fair and equal representation for all of Cassia County, vote for Shirley Halford Hubbard for District 3 Cassia County Commissioner. Paid for by the Halford Hubbard Committee for District 3 County Commissioner, Lois Reinhardt, Treasurer. Whew, I'm running late. Here's the lovely Kay Cameron with the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, and I think she's over at the Hats Off to Simplicity at the Best Western Inn.
Yes, I'm broadcasting live. I actually had to step outside, however. The convention center is abuzz with people getting all set up and ready, and I couldn't hear you very good, so I had to step outside. But it's going to be a great event. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, I was just visiting. There's some ladies here with McCain's. They have a booth set up here, and they've got trivia about their company. I played the trivia game to see if I could win a prize. That's what they're doing. They're giving away prizes if you play their game. They're advertising some jobs that they have available. There is so much going on in there. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be a great day. The gal that's just getting ready to set up for the cooking demonstration, the food's starting to smell good, so it's going to start here at 9:30. The doors open, and so come on by and check it out.
Now, Kay, there's going to be all kinds of vendors, I understand, there. The room is full. You sound like it's really going to be quite an event, and a lot of great speakers, too. What are some of the topics they're going to be talking on?
Well, one thing they've got on the agenda this year is they've got a segment on repurposing furniture. You know, how to take something old and make it new and trendy. And so that should be really interesting. Another one is on how to simplify your life with your device. So everybody has mobile devices these days, and there's so many things that they can do. But a lot of times you don't know what apps are the best or which ways to use your phone to make it the best for you. So there's a segment on how to simplify your life with your mobile device. We've got a section on organization. We've got cooking demos. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, it sounds like it, but it was a lot of work, too, because how many years has the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce been underwriting and sponsoring this event?
Oh, since before I've been at the Chamber. I want to say probably around 14 years or something. I'm not quite sure on that.
Well,
we've talked about it, but we can't quite find the first year it started. But it's been going on for quite some time.
And, you know, really, this is something for the ladies to get out and enjoy themselves. And still, there's time to get down there when the doors open at 9:30, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to hit us with real quick?
No, I hope everybody enjoys it. It's going to be a beautiful day. So enjoy your beautiful day. Have a good, safe weekend, and enjoy this beautiful community.
Absolutely. And this lady, Kay Cameron, has done so much as the director for the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce, and she's down right now at the Hats Off to Simplicity Women's Seminar and Expo at the Best Western Burley Inn. Kay, God bless you, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
All righty. Thank you much. Wow, that's quite an event for the gals in the audience, and we wish them all well. Going to be a lot of fun over there at the Burley Best Western Inn. Want to remind you, too, quickly about our dear friends at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Joel Heward, the manager, his family, his staff. You know, nobody wants to talk about death and dying. Nobody wants to talk about funerals, but it is a part of life. And they are there when you need them, when there's the passing passing of a loved one. Absolutely, and they can help you with all the arrangements, always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. So please write this number down and give them a call for pre-funeral information, and it will really help save your relatives and you a lot of heartache. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. The number 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Right now, let's run over to all the urgent cares in the area, and we're very, very blessed to have with us Kyle James with Riverview Urgent Care of Jerome, and Urgent Care in Twin Falls. Good morning, Kyle. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing pretty good. It's a nice morning, so it's hard to not be good.
Have you ever felt like you were a monkey in a zoo and they were throwing a whole bunch of peanuts at you all at once?
Every day.
Well, it's been a busy day today as we get closer and closer to primary day with everything else going on. But I want you to take some time this morning, if you would, right now, Kyle, and talk about some of the great people that work for your urgent cares at all three locations.
Oh, definitely. I don't have enough time to go over everybody and all the great things they do, but just kind of a brief overview. We've got the best staff. I brag about them all the time, and they really are great. I mean, they're just right down to the bone. They truly care about people and sincerely want to see people come in that have a problem, that need some attention, come in, that we can help them, get taken care of, get them feeling better, and get a plan of, okay, these antibiotics are going to get you feeling better. It might take a couple of days, but you're going to be feeling better. And they leave so much happier and just more confident that, okay, I know what the problem is, we know how we're going to fix it, and that's really what my staff loves to do is fix problems. They love to see people that come in with a problem and they leave feeling like, okay, I've got some help and I know the end is coming soon, because nobody likes to be sick.
No. And whether it's your title and your theme, minor emergencies, major care. Well, when somebody gets hurt or someone is really sick or you have a child that's really sick, it is all of a sudden in your mind's eye, this is catastrophic and we've got to get someplace in a hurry. Well, minor emergencies, major care, and you're open and able to serve the public at times and locations that make it really handy for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's our main goal is to help people and be a service to the communities that we're in. We're in some awesome communities. We've got the best people around, and so it's really easy to want to help and serve these communities that we're in. One of the best things about it, just like you say, minor emergencies, major care. No matter if you're in the Burley Urgent Care, the Jerome Urgent Care, the Twin Falls Urgent Care, we're going to get you taken care of. And one really nice thing about it is when you have that child that gets sick and you're thinking, okay, I think it's been long enough, I need to be on the safe side and take them in, we're there for you. We're open long hours, we're open 7 days a week, and we're there for those people that have some problems come up, and especially for the acute things. They're playing in the backyard and everything's fine and dandy till all of a sudden somebody jumps off the trampoline and hurts their arm, or somebody's digging in the dirt and they found a sharp rock or something in there and end up cutting their hand, or those other things that you don't want to wait on, that shouldn't be waited on, that you want to be able to go into a place right then and be taken care of. And that's our main goal, is we want to be there when the communities need us and get people right in.
I got to ask you this, and it might not even be a statistic, but I'm just curious. When I get a weekend free and I come up with all my little self-imposed projects, I'm just going to ask you this. Are dads much more accessible and ready to go to urgent care because of some of their inabilities to run machinery on the weekend?
It's amazing just the accidents that just happen, and everybody feels like they're the one and only idiot that it happens to. I guarantee you it's not. In fact, we see several a day, and you're not idiots. It just happens. Accidents, that's what they are. And everybody, including myself, I'm trying to put a swing set together for my girls at home, and I think, boy, this would be a lot easier if I knew what I was doing here. And thankfully, we haven't had any accidents, but we're not done yet either.
All right. Hey, we've got a caller with a question for you, Kyle. Stand by. Caller, go ahead for Kyle James.
Thank you. If I may, I had my 2-year-old daughter had an earache back in December, and we took him in, and not only was it quick, you guys helped solve her problem, but 3 weeks later, I got a call from urgent care asking how she was doing, concerned about her care, and legitimately making sure everything was good and if we needed to come back. And I appreciate that. That meant a whole lot.
Wow, there's a testimonial for you, Kyle. How do you like that?
That is awesome. I will definitely pass that on to my staff. I actually just got another email this morning along those same lines, and that's that actually the caller's right. We do what we call callbacks, and I'm pretty adamant about them because we don't just want to see you today and then forget about you tomorrow, that you're not our problem anymore. We sincerely care, and it takes it days. We try and get back to them within a few days. Some days are a little tough to get back to everybody because we've seen so many patients, but we get back to every single patient that we see, and we truly care and do want to make sure we get back to them and make sure that not only they had a good experience, but that they are improving. And maybe if that medication isn't quite working well enough, we're going to switch it. We're going to make sure we get them taken care of. So I really appreciate the caller calling in. That's great. I will tell my staff, they'll be thrilled.
I've got one thing I wanted to mention. A lady called me the other day after you were on the air, and she said, it's great to give the addresses, but she says, I'm kind of new to the area and I don't know the streets that well. Could he give us some landmarks to look for so that we don't miss where they're located? And I thought I'd ask you about that.
Oh, definitely. Addresses are almost kind of a thing of the past now. The landmarks are the way to go, and we're real easy. We're conveniently located in all three places. And in Burley, we're right next to McDonald's, across the street from Walmart. And in Jerome, we're actually on Avenue A, and so it's almost downtown. We're in the same building as R&R Pharmacy. And in Twin Falls, we're right on Addison. We're kind of out on the east side of town, where the big Kmart and Harley-Davidson dealer are.
Okay. Kyle, any final thoughts this morning? Because I'm going to surprise you on this, because I took notes when Dr. Conrad was on last week, and I'm going to give you the hours of the urgent cares, and you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Riverview Urgent Care is open 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday and 9 to 3 on Sundays. Urgent Care in Twin Falls is open 9 to 9 for the weekdays up until also through Saturday and 9 to 3 on Sunday. And Jerome Urgent Care is 2 to 8 p.m., 2 p.m. in the afternoon to 8 p.m. in the evening, and that's on Saturdays and Sundays 9 to 3. How close was I?
You are spot on, Zeb.
Okay. Well, I just want to let you know that I'm paying attention.
Well, you always are. You're sharp as a tack.
Yeah, and I sat on quite a few of those, too. Hey, listen, Kyle James, you have hit home runs serving the public with the urgent cares in Burley, Twin Falls, and Jerome. God bless you, man, and it was really a treat to have you on the show again this morning.
Well, thank you. It's always a good time to hear from you, Zeb.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, thank you. Kyle James, and one of the nicest young men you'll ever get a chance to work with and or talk to, representing the urgent cares in Twin Falls, Jerome, and Burley. Thank you very much. Oh, my goodness sakes, don't forget Mother's Day is right around the corner. Yes, it is. And I want to remind you about the Drift Inn at 545 F Street in Rupert. Oh, my goodness sakes. Now's the time to make reservations for Mother's Day. They're going to have a special menu for Mother's Day. They're going to have items on the menu like prime rib, finger steaks, butterfly shrimp, grilled salmon, chicken cordon bleu. It's going to be absolutely fantastic and delicious at the Drift Inn, 545 F Street in Rupert for Mother's Day. Call them 436-1300. And also get something for Mom from the Book Plaza. Oh, Colonel Dale and the crew at 222 West 11th Street in Burley. Give Mom something special, a special book, maybe a book on poetry, or maybe Precious Moments figurines and other figurines there to add to her collection. Or all the music and the cards, everything one-stop shopping at the Book Plaza, 222 West 11th Street in Burley, and they wish all the moms a very happy Mother's Day. Where in the world did all these dogs come from anyway? Holy smokes, they're all over the place. Where'd the dogs come from? Holy smokes, call Minidoka Animal Control. Ken Mort, he can take care of the problem. Ken, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Well, you sound like you're about a gazillion miles away.
I'm actually working on it. I'm on my way to Dillon, Montana with 14 dogs.
14 dogs?
Yep, we're the two Idaho fuzzies I featured last week, they found homes for them up there, so they're two of the ones that I'm actually transporting up.
All right, now, while you're on the road, drive carefully. Keep your hands at 10 and 2. I know that you have a hands-free device, so tell us about the dogs you'd like to feature for this week.
Well, I would like to feature Lily. She is a 14-month-old pit bull. She loves people, is very, very friendly dog, well-mannered, and other than she does not like other animals. So if anybody that's interested in her would need to make sure that she was an only child when it comes to animals in the house. But she does love to play and just have a good time. If anybody's interested in her, they can reach the facility at 438-2200. Reach me on my cell phone at 670-7268. Or Deb Hines at 670-4348.
Now, what kind of a vehicle are you driving right now to take 14 dogs to Montana?
Actually, a couple years ago, we had a flower shop over in Rupert that went out of business, and the lady donated the van that she used for hauling flowers and stuff in to our facility for a transport vehicle. So we got a large transport vehicle, van and stuff like that, to be able to do this with.
Now, are they all with individual cages inside the vehicle?
Yes, they are. They've each got their own kennel and got room to move around just inside the kennels. We always make sure that they're not cram-packed in there like sardines. We want to make sure they've got some room to move around and stuff, especially where it's about a 3.5-hour drive, so...
Yeah, but I'm more worried about you, Kennel Ken, because after 3.5 hours with barking dogs, 14 of them in the same vehicle, you're going to be stark raving cuckoo.
Well, actually, they're not too bad right now. Most of the time, once you get on the road, they calm down and will wind up going to sleep or just relaxing and everything. But the drive back when it's empty is the enjoyment. It's just nothing but peace and quiet.
Well, now, all of these dogs have homes, you said, through your finding on the internet, homes, etc. Tell us a little bit about that real quick.
Yeah, we post all of our dogs on our Facebook page, Minidoka Joint Fires Animal Control and Shelter. And we've actually got a lot of rescues that monitor our page. We've got individuals that monitor our page. Our page actually, when we've looked at where all it's reached to, we've actually reached areas that like Australia, Germany, all over the world, and that of people that are monitoring our page and actually working with other rescues trying to help us place these dogs so that they don't have to be put down.
So everybody, when you get, what part of Montana did you say you were going to, Dillon?
Dillon, yes.
Okay, so you drive into Dillon and you go to an animal shelter up there, and all the happy dog owners are going to meet you there. Is that what happens?
Actually, what happens is when they get to Dillon, Beaverhead Humane Society, which is who is the one where I'm headed, they turn around, and the people that are planning on adopting them they have to wait approximately 3 days, because as soon as they get there, they get them settled in. Then the next day they start doing spay and neuters on them, because they don't let anything go out until it's been spayed or neutered, and then the owners are able to come and get them after that's been taken care of.
Oh my goodness! So they are getting a very healthy dog.
Yes, they are. I mean, everything when they come into our facility, they are automatically vaccinated for parvo, canine distemper, also given bordetella, and worm. And then when they get to, depending on the rescue, some rescues, because it's cheaper in our area to go ahead to have a rabies vaccination done, they'll have us get the rabies vaccination done and then send them their way, and then they take care of the spay and neuter once they get there. So the dog is in good healthy condition once they get to its new home.
You know, let me ask you this, and I'm prejudiced because I think you're doing a wonderful job. Do other humane societies and other dog shelters do as much as you do? You really have put forth the effort.
I know the Humane Society does. They actually require all dogs before they can leave their facility to be spay or neutered. But I know there are shelters out there that don't have the resources. I mean, luckily we've got a couple of rescues that have actually donated a free spay and neuter each month for the first 2 dogs adopted out. So we're able to get at least 2 of them done for free, and then we've got it worked out with lower costs than some of the vets. They give us a discount so that when the people adopt from us, they can be spay or neutered at a really cheap price.
Okay. I just want to say drive carefully.
Also, I wanted to throw out there, too, that Wagon Tail's Rescue in Rupert, they actually have a Facebook page as well that actually has an application on their site for low-cost spay and neuter, and they are looking for people to apply, and they do dogs and cats. So all you got to do is go look for Wagon Tail's Rescue on Facebook, fill out that application, get it sent into them, and you can get your pet spay or neutered for as low as $25.
Oh, my goodness sakes. All right, well, good old Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control, and he's on his way to Dillon, Montana with 14 dogs. God bless you. Drive carefully, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, Deb. You have a great weekend.
All right, take care. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway?
Who let the dogs out?
Oh, my goodness sakes, who let the dogs out? Ken Moore, good guy, and doing a super job with Minidoka Animal Control. Thank you very much, Ken. I appreciate it. Real quick, before we get our next guest on the phone, I want to remind you about Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world. Oh, my goodness, did you hear that right now you can get Suzuki four-wheelers? 0% financing right now. And they've got all the new watercraft, and they've got absolutely all the accessories you may need, and they've got a wonderful service department, all the parts, everything else at Let's Ride. This is definitely where the fun is sold. Stop over and see them today. Great showroom, chock full for fun for you. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the world. Yep, where the fun is sold. While you're over in that area, maybe you can call quick and make an appointment at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert, and they are the insurance professionals. Nobody does it better. They know all about life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more, and they are extremely dedicated and responsive to your needs. Get a hold of them today. Number to call, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Woo, right now, let's go to the phone line, and a lovely lady waiting in the wings, and I can't wait to visit with her this morning, and that's Rita Ramsey. Good morning, Rita. How are you?
Good morning. I'm real good. How are you?
Rita, you know, you are a news junkie like I am, and I mean that in all politeness. You and I thrive on everything that's going on. But right now, if you miss a newscast, And if you miss reading the paper or miss following something in the news, you're going to be a day late and a dollar short. There's a lot going on right now, isn't there?
Well, there really is, and that presents a really big problem because as we're spending all kinds of time looking at elections and who's winning this state and who said this and who pronounced that wrong and who gaffed this and, you know, all of that other stuff. There's a ton of things going on in Washington and even in our own legislative sessions that we aren't paying attention to, and things are just skating right past, and we're not aware of what's going on.
You know, the other day, Deanne made that same point, and I agree with both of you that with the excess, and I mean that, excess coverage of the presidential nominations and the campaigns and everything, there are a lot of news stories that have slipped under the door, and they need to be amplified, and they're not being taken care of. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. There's absolutely numbers of them, and a lot of them mean changes, and not for the good of our country. And we're not realizing that type of thing is happening, and you know, we're just all on the bandwagon for waiting for 6 months from now to happen, and it's kind of like, hello, we should be paying attention to what's going on today.
Now, I want to ask you this, and I'm sure you followed it, but I made the comment first hour, and I meant it, I was very sincere, that I thought the speech that Donald Trump gave yesterday regarding our national security, etc., I thought he did a very good job in not only addressing the points that needed to be addressed, but also highlighting what the Obama administration absolutely has not done. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's probably very true. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with in his repertoire, but that's beside the point. Obama has done a lot of things that have caused a lot of issues. And you know, nobody's bringing up anything about troops going over into Syria and doing stuff over there, and that's what we're doing.
You know, and there's another good point, too. You follow all this. I talked about this earlier in the week. 250 troops, 250. I'm not talking 250,000. I'm not talking 25,000. I'm talking 250 to go over there, announce to the world that they're coming to help aid and support the other only 50 that are there. This is lunacy. Why in the world does he have to show his poker hand to the world?
Well, first of all, he shouldn't. And second of all, he's letting them, or rather I should say, sending them over there, and they have their hands tied behind their back. So I don't see what the point is.
You know, I wanted to ask you also, Ted Cruz in Indiana announced that he is going to have as his running mate Carly Fiorina. Now, I've always said on this program, I like Carly. I like her straightforward, direct mannerisms. I like the way she absolutely looked in the camera and attacked Hillary and anybody else. What are your thoughts about that kind of a matchup? I think maybe a little early, but at least it was announced.
Well, I don't think it's early. I think it's a last-ditch effort to see if he can get a little bit of attention to people who are interested in saving our Constitution and our country, because obviously the Trump supporters don't have any allegiance to that. And if you'll remember back in 2000, George W. Bush was told, you know, everybody was saying, oh, he doesn't have any experience. How can he do this and how can he do that? And he basically announced his cabinet, who it would be. And then, of course, he went on to win. And Ronald Reagan did the very same thing. He went in and said, this is who my cabinet will be. And that just kind of set the stage for what kind of a cabinet they would be looking at. And obviously, with the win that Ronald Reagan had, which was landslide, people were very interested in who the cabinet would be and what type of things could happen.
You know, every day, every Thursday that you're on this program, we try to talk about various stories that are in the news. And Rita, every day that goes by, there seems to be another attack and assault on our free speech, especially from liberals and aimed at conservative speech. I don't know if you heard this story or not, but at North Carolina State University, now they are making it where you have to buy a permit. Buy a permit if you're going to talk about Jesus on the campus. This is insanity, Rita.
I think I'd be finding a lawyer to file a lawsuit. That is absolutely ludicrous. The people obviously aren't aware of the Constitution, because you should be able to say that anywhere. And you get all these people that always scream, oh, church and state, church and state, church and state. Well, you know what? There is no church and state. The deal is that the Constitution tells you what the government can't do, and the government cannot tell you whether you can talk about religion or not. It doesn't have anything to do with church and state. It's saying that the government cannot tell you what church to join or what you have to do for religion. It is supposed to say totally out of it. And so you've got a bunch of people who have gone in and made rules and this and that and everything else, and have brainwashed people into thinking that we have to have taboo when it comes to that kind of thing. And that is absolutely not true. And it is your right to religion to do any of that kind of stuff, and the Constitution allows that.
You know, Rena, I would really find it interesting for me to think that at any way, shape, or form I would adhere to a permitting process to talk about Jesus. I will do that anywhere. I will do it at any time that I so want to talk about Jesus, and no one is ever going to come up and tell me, well, you owe us $79.50 for a permit. That's not going to happen to me.
Well, it really shouldn't, and while we're on that topic, when they're asking about permits, and you have to have permits for this, that, and the other, somebody needs to ask the question very bluntly and publicly, okay, if that's the case, what about the people who bring their prayer rugs and who are always talking about their religion, but we can't talk about, what our beliefs are? It shouldn't matter whether you're Jewish or whether you're Hindu, whether you're Christian, Muslim, whatever you are. It shouldn't matter. In this country, you have the right to say and do what you want. It's just that they have certain specificities that they are going to have. You can't talk about Christianity, but anybody else can talk about anything else they want.
That's right. Now, I want to change gears a little bit, and I want to get your opinion on this. This last week, and it went under the radar on a lot of newscasts on CBS, ABC, and NBC, but Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe of Democratic National Convention fame, a guy that I do not like at all, is now the governor of Virginia, and he basically said that over 200,000 felons in his state of Virginia, he's going to allow them to go vote.
Well, what he's trying to do is lock up the votes for Hillary. As many people, you know this, but many people don't realize that Terry McAuliffe was in the Clinton administration, and he's one of their cronies. They got him elected into Virginia. And actually, Donald Trump even gave him a $25,000 donation here a couple of years ago when he was being elected in, I think it was 2014. So anyway, what he's doing is making it possible for all of those ex-felons to vote. And what it'll do is it'll bite Republicans right in the behind. And that's just the way that it is. When you have people like this that you put in power, give power, and the governor has power over his state. He can do a lot of things, and this is what happens, and that's why it's important that you have conservative governors so that they don't do this kind of stuff, because it's just their way of saying, well, we're going to make sure these 200,000 ex-felons are going to vote, and they'll vote for Hillary.
I'm not trying to sound extremely negative when I say this, but this last week, not this week, but the week prior, I was reading Newsmax magazine, and they had an excellent story in there. I think it was about 8 or 9 pages long, about how we may be teetering on the brink of the apocalypse. And they were talking about our moral breakdowns. They were talking about our security breakdowns. They were talking about our economic breakdowns. They were talking about our millennial youngsters with a no responsibility attitude, no respect attitude. Where, in your opinion, are we as a culture right now, Rita?
Well, I fear that I'm on the same page as that article that you just mentioned, because I think that we are at such a precipice of making some choices here that if we don't make the right ones, we go on over the edge. But we are so close to the edge that it is scary, and it's going to happen. It will. And it's probably just a matter of time. It may not be this week or this month or even maybe this year. But we've gone over the cliff on a lot of things. There's just absolutely numbers of them. One thing that I kind of wanted to mention that is somewhat in this area and it's quite concerning is that Senator McConnell, who is the majority leader in the Senate, was going to bring the Clean Water Act. What they were doing is they've expanded it so much. In the Obama administration, it's the Clean Water Act of 1970, and it's enforced, of course, by the EPA, that they've expanded it so that it's not just navigable lakes and rivers and et cetera, which is the way the law reads, but it expanded to even a pond or a mud puddle in your yard. Mm-hmm. And so Congress was getting ready to vote on this, and they were going to do it, I believe it was on Monday. And he changed the law to for the allowance of the vote, but he made it so that there was a supermajority. He knew he had enough votes to vote against the expansion of that and to cut back on the EPA from trying to come after the people with the pond or whatever. So Senator McConnell changed it over to a supermajority, which is 60 votes, of which he knows that he can't get because the Democrats won't vote with him, and there's only 54 Republicans that would. Now, that's voting on the wrong side. These people, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle they're on, there are some of them that are so absolutely bought and paid for that they do not care, and it doesn't matter whether they have control or not. They're just going to do the wrong thing, and that's where we're breaking down and why we are at the precipice of losing our country.
I couldn't agree more. That was very, very well stated. Another story that I read and was following in Newsmax and some other sources was how the illegal aliens in this country are being let go after they have committed a major crime, a felony, and Obama's administration is saying, well, wait a minute, they haven't been sentenced yet, so turn them loose. Over 124 of those were let go and later were charged with murder. I mean, what's going on here, Rita?
Well, it's our Obama administration and Department of Justice who I really don't know what their ulterior motive is other than to destroy the country, because they not only have decided to do that with illegal aliens, but they've got an alternative plan now so that they can get more Syrian refugees into the United States. And one of those things is they're trying to put the skids on it, so it's like, okay, well, that's just fine. We'll go through and we'll allow them to come in on college scholarships and family members to come in on those and everything that they can. So instead of 20,000 refugees, they're trying to bump it up to 200,000. And what the biggest problem with that is that it's going to cause us to happen just like it's happening with Europe. And Europe is right now in a mode of you might say just chaos because of all of the people who have just flooded in there, and they're not only saying, well, take down this fence, they're pushing it down and pushing down anyone who's trying to enforce that. And then they get into the areas where they're at, and we decide, okay, let's just be okay with multiculturalism. We don't expect them to learn the language. We expect them to have their own communities. We don't expect them to go by our laws. They can set up their own laws. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter whether they're illegal from what country, whether it's southwest, northeast, or wherever, or whether they're refugees or whatever. We're just not enforcing our laws, and that is a big problem. Our laws have got to be enforced, and people have got to assimilate, or we're not going to be a country anymore.
I've got to do a weather forecast, and when I come back, I want to elaborate on that a little bit more. Stay tuned and stand by, Rita. I'll be right by with you with more in just a moment. Don't forget Lennox Home Comfort Systems through our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric, offering rebates on those home comfort systems, whether they're gas furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps, whatever. You and your family will enjoy the comfort. All you have to do is call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 and find out how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, can save you money. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Enjoy today because it looks like we've got a storm system that's going to be sticking around for most of the weekend. Of course, today, mostly sunny skies, slightly breezy. High of 63 with an overnight low of 39 tomorrow as we get ready to walk on into the weekend. Looks like afternoon rain showers are in the forecast. Wind's going to be picking up to about 20 miles an hour. High of 60 with an overnight low of 40. Saturday, afternoon rain showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast. High of 62 with an overnight low of 41. And then for Sunday, partly cloudy, but it is going to be windy. High of 63 with an overnight low of 40. And then as we go back to work on Monday, of course, wouldn't you know, it's going to be nice. Mostly sunny skies, high of 67, possibly 73 for next Tuesday. Yesterday's high was 57. The overnight low was 41. That is your weather for Zebit.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you very much. Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Call them today at 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox can save you money. We're on the air with Rita Ramsey. Rita, when we talk about borders, and we talk about our country, and we talk about the mess and the chaos that's going on over in Europe and how their borders are being diminished and they're being overrun by the Muslim refugees from Syria and others. And then we have the millennials in this country and the no borders crowd on the left that want to just absolutely run the borders out of existence in Mexico's border and also the Canadian border. What kind of absolute chaos are these crazies trying to impose on us?
Well, it's pretty obvious that in their wonderful education, and many of them are college educated by now that are in the millennial group, they didn't actually talk about the Constitution. They didn't talk about why we have to be a sovereign nation. They didn't talk about the responsibility of the citizen. There's tons of those things that they don't even talk about anymore, and they haven't for years, and it's not just the last 8 years. It's the last probably 30, 40, even maybe more. I know some of that stuff had started to dwindle out when I was in grade school in the 60s. And it's really sad because what it has done is it has declined our nation, and it's taking our nation down a path that is really, really bad. A lot of people don't understand it, but it is taking us down socialism, and the next thing that comes from the liberty which we have and freedom and the type of system that we have, which is a free trade type of nation and free, the freedom to do whatever we want. You go to socialism, which makes the government pretty much in charge of a lot of things. And then the very next step, and it's not a very big step that has to be taken, is you're in communism. And communism is that the government owns everything and tells you everything you can do. With socialism, you can still own stuff, but they take away most of the stuff that you have and give it to others. And then they start finding out that they don't have enough to give to everybody, so they just kind of take over all of it. But it's a really small baby step once you get to socialism, and we are 3/4 there right now. With the government being in charge of health care and education and everything that they're in charge of, and their the regulations and stuff that they've put out there. They are in charge of so much stuff that you don't have hardly any room to breathe, and we are on the top step of getting socialism 100%.
I agree with you. Rita, one final thought here this morning, and I commented on this last hour. I am really upset at the lack of class of Hollywood, and in particular, a comedic actor by the name of Will Ferrell. It was brought to my attention this morning that he is in the process of finalizing, or it may be already finalized and ready to go to the public, a movie based about Ronald Reagan and his battle with Alzheimer's and dementia, but it is supposedly a comedy. My question to you is, they never made so far a movie of comedy about FDR fighting polio. They never made a movie as of yet about Democrat Jimmy Carter having cancer. But why are they picking on Ronald Reagan with his Alzheimer's? And what in the world could ever be considered comedy about that?
Well, there isn't anything that's comedy about that, and I will say only one thing, and that is what matters about Ronald Reagan is what he did for our country and the decisions that he made and the leader that he was. And there hasn't been anybody that dwarfs him. Maybe Jefferson, or not Jefferson, maybe Washington or Lincoln, but nobody else. And he took us out of a time when we were in pretty bad shape. And so for them to go back and start hunting down something that happened after he was out of the presidency, of which he had no control over, nor does anyone, and his sweet wife took care of him for so many years, and it had to be really difficult. I think it is just absolutely despicable that they would even approach something like that.
I do too. Rita, I've only got about a minute left. What's going on with the Tea Party?
On May 12th, which is our next meeting, we're going to have the candidates for commissioner in the Minidoka and Cassia County come to our meeting and do a little presentation and a Q&A, and so we'd like to invite people from both counties to come, because we're the Mini-Cassia, we are doing both together, and it worked out really well with our sheriff's forum, and so that's what we're going to be doing, so that we can kind of learn some of the issues and get to know those who are running and know which direction we want to vote.
All right. Rita Ramsey, thank you so much. Very good conversation. I appreciate it. Have a great week.
You too. Thanks, Zeb.
All right, take care. Very nice lady, Rita Ramsey, right here on our program on Thursdays. Real quick, I want to remind you that Cliff Katona is running for Twin Falls County Sheriff, and he's been on many, many civic boards of service, and he has been a member of the Idaho State Police Association, 28 years of distinguished law enforcement for the state of Idaho, Idaho State Policeman for 19 years, and he wants the Sheriff's Department to grow with Magic Valley. He wants to be a visible sheriff in the community addressing people's concerns. Cliff Katona for Twin Falls County Sheriff promises to be proactive, all community needs, and with more visibility. Vote for Cliff Katona for Twin Falls County Sheriff, paid for by the Katona for Twin Falls County Sheriff Committee, Jim Woolley, Chairman. You know what? Right now, I am so doggone hungry. I had earlier this morning at 4 a.m. a little bit of a breakfast, but right now I'm thinking about, I'm hungry and starving to death. Well, I know some places to go if you're hungry. Yes, I do. How about burgers, etc.? 124 South Oneida in Rupert, and another location at 700 Overland in Burley. Listen to this. Corn dogs and burritos after 3 p.m. in the afternoon, just 99 cents. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And they've got all the delicious burgers and all the taco salads and all the onion rings and everything. And every Sunday, they've got a shrimp dinner special at the Burley location. So don't forget that if you're hungry, burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. How about El Caporal at 610 North Overland in Burley? Whether it's lunch, dinner, drinks, parties, celebrations, any kind of time, stop in at, of course, El Caporal. And don't forget, on Thursday, May 5th, they're going to have, in celebration of Cinco de Mayo, a live DJ. My goodness, they're going to have a lot of fun over there. Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., serving you, and then on Saturdays and Sundays, it's a great place to eat. El Caporal at 610 North Overland in Burley. Well, let's move on over. How about the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley? Oh, that chicken fried steak sandwich. Have you tried that? Knock your boots off. Delicious with fries and the special sauce and any flavor milkshake you want. Oh, my goodness. Along with the famous Farmer Brown burgers and the ranch burgers. Oh, their shakes are absolutely delicious. You stop in today. You're going to see what I mean. 601 East Main in Burley, the AC Drive-In. Let's move on over to Steve-O's at 290 South 600 West of Heyburn. Food made the way you love it. Oh, my goodness sakes. They just celebrated their 21st birthday. They love people, they love food, and they provide the best to you. Fresh hand-cut steak fries or regular fries, and they've got the buffalo burgers, and they've got the pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes. I'm starving to death. Well, then head to Steve-O's at 290 South 600 West of Heyburn. And last but not least, how about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? Newly remodeled. Man, they can better serve you. More people, more room. It is wonderful in there. And they've got the breakfast burritos. Oh, my goodness, you're going to love them. And they've got takeout orders available. If you need to order, take out, take home, that's great. And all the steak and chicken burritos, you are going to love the menu, and you're going to love the newly remodeled facility at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley, and those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. Right now, we're going to send it back over to Wheels for this good word, and then he'll take us up to CBS News. Oh, my goodness, here we go. Hour number 3 on a Thursday. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch, and thank you very much. And before we get things started with our next segment, Cassia County School Days, in just a few minutes, I want to remind you a lot of things are going on, including Mother's Day is right around the corner. Don't forget the Goodie Shop at 133 West Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness, have you been in there or given them a call to build your own basket or maybe a special Mother's Day mug filled with candy kisses and brownies and cookies and all kinds of goodies? Man, salads and sandwiches, they do it all at the Goodie Shop, 133 West Main in Burley, 647-0106. Wishing all the moms a happy Mother's Day. Along with Magic Valley Irrigation at 44 East, 500 South of Burley. I'll tell you what, these are good folks. Old Jeff and the crew over there wish all the moms happy Mother's Day, and they remind all the farmers in the area that they have all their irrigation needs. Give them a call at 678-3101. Magic Valley Irrigation, 44 East, 500 South of Burley. A happy Mother's Day to all in the Magic Valley. Thank you very much. What else have we got cooking here? Oh, Wheels, we need to have that good word for Roy Prescott.
With over 40 years of dedicated community service, Roy Prescott brings experience to real issues facing Jerome County today. Roy Prescott, the Jerome County Commissioner. Responsible leadership for a better Jerome County.
Thank you very much. We appreciate those good words. And I just want to say that we apologize again. We did not hear back from the United States Senator Mike Crapo's office in Washington this morning. They had said that many, many times he had tried to call our watch line. We did have a bump in power that cut us off the air earlier this morning. And since that time, the sound has not been the same, and maybe it had something to do with the phone line, I'm not sure. But my lovely bride has been in contact with Crapo's office back in Washington, and they're going to try to reestablish a time this next week, and we'll get Mike back on so we can ask him the questions that are really relevant to what's going on in the news today. Okay? Let's see if I got anything else to tell you about right now. Well, I also want to remind you at 10:30 this morning, we're going to have the Second Amendment, our Second Amendment. It's a segment we've put together with Ryan Horsley at Red's Trading Post in Twin Falls to talk about gun issues and some of the laws that are coming down the pike to maybe infringe on our Second Amendment. That's going to be at 10:32 this morning, so don't miss it. Cassia County School Days has really been an outstanding segment put together by Debbie Critchfield, and I really appreciate all her efforts. And it's sponsored by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and they've got all their spring clothes in there, spring and summer clothes. They've got all the short sets, and they got the suits, and they've got all the baby outfits and the baby furniture. Oh my goodness, they've got it all. And gift wrapping is always free. And every Tuesday is special Grandparents Discount Day at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And it's also sponsored by Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. And you know, the doctors that serve you at Ambulatory Surgery Center, they take Regions Blue Shield insurance, and they can help you with your outpatient surgeries, colonoscopies, knee, foot, and hand surgeries. Please give them a call and find out how they can save you money at the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley, along with The Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and with us on the phone is the music director of Burley High School and a really good guy, Dusty Fisher. How are you?
Sir?
Yes, sir.
He is not on the phone. Debbie just called me now, and she asked if he did call in, and I let her know that he didn't, and she tried calling him, but it went to his voicemail, so she said that She's going to try to get hold of him again, but if he doesn't answer back, then she'll call in.
Oh, goody. Have you noticed how today the phone and calls have kind of gone right into the basement?
It's been a mud puddle this morning.
Okay. Oh, my goodness sakes. Dusty, if you're listening, you should have called in a couple of minutes ago. Anyway, we're waiting patiently. This is funny almost. I'm going to giggle a little bit because it doesn't do any good to get mad. We had trouble with the Mike Crapo hookup earlier this morning, and now we can't get a local call in on the air. We'll have to wait and see about that. Next Monday on the program will be May 2nd already, and we're going to be having the manager of the Cassia Regional Hospital, Rod Barton's going to be on the air with us at 10:30, along with some of our other guests with the Alliance Defending Freedom, and also Vicky's Country Garden and Catherine from the Senior Center, and so that just kind of gives you a little bit of a preview as to what we're going to have on Monday's program. Let's check back over with Wheels and see if he has Debbie on the line or Dusty Fisher.
I do not, sir.
You want to sing a song, kid?
I'd love to if I had a great singing voice.
Well, I'll tell you what. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And we'd like to hear from you, so give us a jingle on the landline, and we'll get you on the air. Believe me, we'll put anybody on the air. You got a dog that barks in a fairly good tune? Have him call, and we'll put him on the air. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your calls that I hope are coming in, I had that story on about North yesterday. I heard you clearing your voice.
Debbie Critchfield is on the line for you, sir.
All right, let's take Debbie. Debbie, thank God for you. How are you?
Well, I'm stressed because I'm trying to get your caller, so I don't know what's happened, but hopefully we're tracking him down. So in the meantime, I'm going to pinch hit. How about that?
Well, you, as the communications officer for Cassia County Schools, I say thank you for all you do. And you know, this morning has been one of those mornings where I think all of a sudden I should have grabbed my fishing pole at 9:06 and just left.
Well, it's sunny outside, so that might have been a good idea.
What is going on in your world? What can you tell us this morning?
Well, do we want to talk about the fundraiser that we had at Ferrell High School for the band teacher with cancer?
I would love to, and it's a great cause, so I'll turn the floor over to you. Go ahead.
Well, earlier in the school year, Mitch Tilley, who is a, I think, second-year band teacher at Ferrell High School, was diagnosed with cancer, and I'm not sure on the type of cancer, but nonetheless, obviously a serious illness, and it put him in a position to need to take some leave from school to take care of himself and go through the cancer treatment program and so forth. And it obviously is very expensive to do that. And the choir director at the school, Dusty Fisher, was kind and generous enough to organize some fundraisers throughout the year to benefit Mr. Tilley and provide some relief for all of his medical bills. And last Thursday, Mr. Fisher organized something that he called Backwards Basketball. And he coordinated with not only the Burley High School band, but with the Minico High School band. And they played the fast-paced game of basketball in quarters, where they had the band kids were on the court playing basketball, Burley versus Minico, and the athletes were in the stands supporting the players. And they did, in between these various quarters, they did other types of student activities. It really was a well-attended and a very fun event.
Now, I got to ask you, what did you call it, backwards basketball?
Basketball. Yeah, I think backwards is in the kids or students that are normally in the stands with their instruments and that type of thing, supporting the players on the court. Those were the students that were on the court.
You know,
the band kids. Then they had one of the quarters, they had the boys band members of Burley versus Minico on the court, and then another one they did girls, and then another quarter they had the parents of the opposing school parents of the band students out there playing, and music, and like I say, activities and food, and obviously it was for a great cause. We want to support our teachers, but I think another level of this is the fact that Burley and Minico combined together to do something good. You know, there's been a lot of bad press about the schools and the rivalry with athletics, but clearly when it comes down to those things that are serious and really matter, the schools are able to work together and students come together.
You know, I honestly am sitting here with a little bit of a tear in my eye because the camaraderie and the social event to help somebody that really needs help. The human heart and the human mind, they might have a lot of animosity during the week, but then all of a sudden when somebody needs help, it's funny how they all jump in and really dedicate themselves to a great cause, and I think this is phenomenal.
I agree, and as I mentioned, there've obviously been a lot of negative stories, and we see things in the paper and on the news as Minico was fined, and I think the fine was waived, but criticized for some of their interactions, and at times Burley's at fault. There's certainly that rivalry goes both ways. But as you pointed out, when it needed to happen, that we put those types of things aside. And again, Mr. Fisher, the choir director at Burley High School, for him to organize such an event, it's a lot of effort and a lot of work on the front end to provide something. The cheerleaders were there, and at different times, band members, Burley versus, and I say versus in a good way, the bands would play against each other. They had a shoot-off between the two choir directors at Burley versus Minico, and when the band director at Minico missed or the choir director at Burley missed, the opposing student bodies would have to do push-ups.
Oh my!
And so, and this is, I'm going to make this comment knowing that I respect all that band members do, but they're not basketball players. Our band directors are not basketball players. They're musical wizards in that sense. And so I'll just say there were a lot of push-ups that were done.
Let me ask you this, Debbie. I have had a chance. I've had a chance to go around to a lot of schools all over the United States and speak to various schools and be a part of various school activities. But this last winter, when we asked if we could get some members of the Burley High School choral department to come down and sing at our Christmas extravaganza at Denny's, Dusty Fisher and his kids, and wow, the voices and the talent. Burley really has some outstanding talent.
I agree. And to have a teacher that is willing to go above and beyond what he's contracted for. Sometimes teachers get framed in a negative light, that they're only there from the required hours, and beyond that they don't care. I mean, not only was he doing his own position that he was hired for, but when Mr. Tilley was ill, he had to take on the band. And so he was performing those two roles throughout the school year, in addition to the fact that he is actually the director for the King Fine Arts Center. He was involved in several plays. He takes kids on field trips to various chorales that he's got. He takes them around the state to compete. And, as I pointed out to him, where in your life or in your mind did you find the time to think, well, maybe we ought to try to raise $11,000, which is what the final tally was, to support the teacher. And, his comment was just, well, that was the right thing to do.
Let me ask you this. Is there anything that my program can do, or can we highlight something or feature something that might aid and abet this situation to help Mr. Tilley?
I think that if any of your listeners were motivated or inclined to donate towards the fundraising effort, they could call Burley High School, 878-6606, and ask for Mr. Fisher. And I am sure that he could connect them in various ways, and all of the fundraising money goes directly to Mr. Tilley. no administrative oversight or cut to the school. It simply will all go to him.
Real quick, while I've got you on the line here this morning, Debbie, as the communications officer for the Cassia County School System, the time is starting to run down and out for the school year this year, and soon the kids will be off of school. What's going to happen during the summer?
We've got 3 major construction projects that are going to have their start. And actually, we will, here in about 3 weeks, we will begin digging the new wing to Raptor High School. And then as soon as school is out, end of May, first part of June, we will begin the major construction items in Oakley. And then about the beginning of July, that is when we will start on East New Elementary School in Burley. So we'll have some things to talk about construction-wise. I'd love to keep folks up to date and current on where we are with construction, and we're excited. It's been a while. We've had some major bumps, if not potholes, in the road along the way. But this is the time where we're going to really see some things come together.
I appreciate everything you do on this program. Ladies and gentlemen, she has been so helpful to promote Cassia County School Days on my program, always with the guests, always with great ideas. Debbie Critchfield from the Cassia County School Office as Communications Officer. Any final words? I've got about 30 seconds left, Debbie.
We appreciate the opportunity to share the good things and how well you work with our guests. I never have a hard time twisting arms. People have had good experiences when they've called into you, so we appreciate you treating everybody so well.
You're very welcome, and if I don't talk to you for quite some time, have a great, great spring and a better yet summer. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Cassia County School Days brought to you by 2 wonderful businesses. We're very proud of them. A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. And they bring you Cassia County School Days every Thursday right here on my program at 10:10. As I mentioned a little bit ago, we're going to have our business salute momentarily, so stand by. I'll get to them in just a moment. I want to remind you, too, Scott Yates is running for Cassia County Sheriff, and he would like your vote on May 17th, and he is not part of the establishment. He wants everybody to be productive and is going to support Cassia County in every way he can to make it a more productive community and hopefully for less crimes, less people in jail, equaling a more productive community. Don't forget, on May 17th, vote for Scott Yates for Cassia County Sheriff, paid for by Yates for Cassia County Sheriff Committee, Julie Jaime, the treasurer. Right now, let's go to the phone line. My goodness, we got the old Green Bay Packer fan on the phone with us this morning. Hello, Eli with Berry Equipment and Rental. How are you?
I'm good, Zeb. How are you this morning?
I am fantabulous. What's going on at Berry Equipment and Rental?
We've got lots of stuff. The rental fleet's hopping. The shop's busy. We're looking for some people. Lots of good stuff.
Now, when you say you're looking for some people, are you looking for people to come in and try the equipment, or are you looking for people to help sell equipment and work for Berry Equipment and Rental?
I'm looking for technicians this morning. I could use a technician in just about every dealership. The shops are busy.
Now, what does that technician have to be able to do and know? Give us a little explanatory remark about what the job entails.
Well, we're looking for a heavy equipment technician that will work out of a service truck and work on the Doosan wheel loaders and excavators and Bobcat compact equipment.
Okay. And, boy, right now, this time of the year, I'll bet you that you guys are swamped in the leasing and the selling of all the equipment to get the job done right. I know last week I was really highlighting about those Coyote tractors, and this week we're talking about the Bobcats. Give us just kind of an overlay of all the different equipment you have at all 3 locations.
So we've got a Doosan wheel loader at every location. Twin Falls has a couple that are for sale. Each location has a rental piece. I've got the heavy excavators up to 50,000 pounds right now in the rental fleet and for sale. As far as Bobcat goes, I've got skid steers, track loaders, mini excavators. We've got, I believe we're pushing 50 pieces of Bobcat rental in the fleet right now.
Oh, my goodness. You know, and I was talking to, I think it was Nick or Juan one day, they mentioned to me that at the Burley location, you've got a great big sandbox out behind that they can literally learn how to run the equipment. Is that true at all locations?
Just Burley. Burley's got a big gravel pit. It's kind of our proving ground. We like to take customers down in there so they can actually put the equipment to work to see if it'll work for them before we haul it out to a demo.
Okay. You know, really, how many people take advantage of that? Do they come in there and they say, oh, I know how to run all this stuff. It's not new to me. And then they get home and they call you and they say, help. How many people really take advantage of learning right there at the site?
Quite a few. We like to take the time to go through it so customers are confident when they leave with the equipment. And then our commercial guys that are pros, you say, hey, I've got that gravel pit. Why don't you try this new excavator out? It's pretty hard to keep them out of it.
Okay. A great big sandbox. One thing I wanted you to mention right now, Eli, this is lawn mowing season. The grass is growing with all this rain and everything. You've got those walker mowers, don't you?
Yep. Nothing cuts like a walker. They call it the out front advantage for a reason.
Well, give us a little explanation. What makes those mowers better?
What was that?
I said, what makes the walker mowers better?
Well, it's all about grass collection. It's most mower manufacturers build a mower to cut grass, and then collecting the grass is an afterthought. And not with walkers. They build the deck and the collection system first, and then they build the rest of the mower around it. So that's what we do. We collect grass better than anybody in the industry. Wet, dry, thick, heavy.
Okay. And along with that, you've got the Coyote tractors and a lot of the steel equipment and Honda power equipment. Give us any other ranges of equipment. What is the most asked for piece of equipment in the spring?
In the spring, right now, it's aerators, thatchers, tillers, anything that gets your lawn and garden up to speed. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, come down and see us. We've got all those things, and we've got a variety of them. So if you're tilling a flower bed, we've got a tiller for that. If you're tilling up your back lawn to reseed it, we've got the correct pieces, and we'll direct you to the right tool for the project so you're not out doing it all day.
All right. Now, you've got 3 locations, and I want you to amplify to everybody where they are and what the hours they're open. Go ahead, please.
Well, and the fun and exciting thing is we now have 4 locations.
Oh. All right, well, go ahead.
We just opened a new branch in Nampa, Idaho.
Okay. And
we're in Nampa, and they're open 7 to 5. We're in Jerome, 7:30 to 5:30, Monday through Saturday, and Twin Falls and Burley, also 7:30 to 5:30.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm really proud to have you folks on my program because Berry Equipment and Rental has all the equipment to get the job done right. Eli, thanks. But before you hang up, give me a little prognostication. The Packers kind of fell on their face last year. What about 2016?
You know, they'll pull it off. They're going to be just fine. I don't think there's going to be anything too flashy tonight and tomorrow in the draft, but they're going to be okay. Hopefully they bolster that line in the secondary, and we're heading back to the Super Bowl, baby.
Woo, that's hanging it out there on the line. Okay, Eli, God bless you at Berry Equipment and Rental. We'll send everybody in, okay?
Okay, thank you, Zeb.
Thank you, partner. Appreciate it. Berry Equipment and Rental with locations in Jerome, Twin Falls, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. And right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studio. When we come back, we're going to have our Second Amendment. We're going to be talking about gun rights and the lack thereof and how some want to take them away from us. And we're going to have Ryan Horsley on from Red's Trading Post. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much and welcome back to our last half hour. A couple of weeks ago, we started a segment called Our Second Amendment and what's happening in this country to basically demonize gun owners and gun ownership, and how possibly we could see additions to the Supreme Court that might even alter or change or diminish our Second Amendment as it relates to our freedoms in this country. There is nobody that knows more about what's going on with guns and gun ownership than this next man that's on my program, and he, of course, is Ryan Horsley from Red's Trading Post, 203 Fifth Avenue South in Twin Falls. Ryan, good morning to you. Nice to have you on the program.
Good morning to you, Zeb.
You know, let me ask you this as we start things off this morning. You, of anybody with Red's Trading Post, you probably have seen some major changes in thought and philosophy over the last 10, 20 years. But am I wrong in saying that there seems to be a major push in this country to demonize and denigrate gun ownership, kind of like also with tobacco farmers that raise tobacco? I mean, there's a complete, you can't do this anymore, and you're a bigot and a hate monger if you're involved in this. Do you see this?
It was interesting because I had a discussion the other day with someone, in regards to not a gun owner, but just a perception. They said, it's kind of strange to see, your business and yourself being a strong advocate against domestic violence. And I go, for a gun owner, I go, what? And I go, what are you talking about? And we had a great discussion on it. I go, no. That's the way they want to perceive it or change it. I said, that gun owners would be for domestic violence? Absolutely not. I said, in fact, we try and get more women into classes to be able to better equip themselves, protect themselves, because you don't want to see anyone be, I said, that's honestly a bunch of anti-gun liberal garbage. I said, I don't know, any law-abiding gun owner who is for domestic violence. I said, that's just absolutely absurd and it's ridiculous. And I said, and it's just downright offensive as well.
Do you see anything coming down the pike way ahead of time other than what we might see with news releases, etc.? I am, and I'll tell you, maybe you can tell me I'm wrong, I'm very, very concerned about what might happen on some of the retiring members of the Supreme Court and Obama possibly appointing some that would be anti-Second Amendment. What are your thoughts and what are you hearing?
That's going to be a big question. As this comes up and, different Supreme Court nominees, I don't know if, Obama can push something through at this point. I don't think it's going to be for lack of trying. And, and then you take a look at some of the candidates, with, Bernie Sanders or Hillary, it looks like it's going to be Hillary, and possibly we'll end up having Bernie as a vice presidential candidate, and Trump as well. I mean, Trump's been back and forth on this, and anybody who, I hate to burst anybody's bubble, who's for him, because I've had that discussion. I said, well, listen, it's he's waffled on this. He's gone on both sides, like a lot of other issues, and I said, really, as far as the, candidate is available, it's going to be Ted Cruz, and, as far as going to be your, best Second Amendment, candidate, and, they're always looking, and that's why as well that, it's gotten to a point where, we've been working with Idaho Second Amendment Alliance here in the state, and they've been kind of pushing a lot of buttons and making a lot of Greg Pruitt and his group there have been kind of stirring some things up, but for a good thing. Yeah, I mean, because in the state we get so used to saying, okay, well, they're
basically all Republicans are all Second Amendment, but really answering questions, and a couple of them have came back. We had one gentleman, they've made big news that, they'd sent him off a flyer, and he said, no, I believe we should ban any large capacity magazines, and this is, and they're, kind of, getting the word out. And, over in our area with Maxine Bell as well, they're throwing out flyers and showing all the bills that she voted against the Second Amendment on, and so it's hitting close to home anymore, and they're really, really pushing some of the candidates that it's just not lip service. It's how do you really truly feel, and and getting them just out of their sound bites and being able to ask some more in-depth questions.
I want to get into that a little bit further, but we have a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller. Quickly, you're on the air.
Oh, yeah, with the new concealed carry law we have, what are the rules with that? Because with the concealed carry license, you're supposed to, let a cop know if he pulls you over that you're armed. Is that still the same, or has anything changed?
Let's have him answer this on the air. Go ahead, caller. Thank you very much.
That's always been a courtesy thing, and so it's never been an obligation, but it's always a courtesy thing, and most officers appreciate it. Just letting them know, hey, you know what, officer, I've got a concealed weapons license, or I don't have a concealed weapons license, but I do have a firearm over here. I just wanted to let you know it's on my hip, and keep your hands on the steering wheel. And there's a lot of people, who say I don't have to do that, and that's your right as well. But generally it's a common courtesy to police officers. But yeah, that's what, if you take any of these classes, they'll say, hey, listen, just common courtesy to law enforcement, just let them know.
Absolutely. Now, I want to get back to the political side of things for a moment, if I could, Ryan. What about some of the sheriffs and sheriff candidates that are running for office? Do you think that these people that are running for that position really understand their constitutional rights and values if they are a county sheriff?
There's been a strong push in the last couple of years on this, and there's been a lot of people asking how they stand on the Constitution, and and again, coming up as far as just doing lip service. Actually, this weekend, from noon to 1:30, out here on our front deck, we're going to be having a meet and greet with some of the candidates, three of the candidates we stand by. One is Sheriff Tom Carter, Jack Johnson, who's running for county commissioner here, and also Don Hall, who's also running for county commissioner here. And and it's not just invite a bunch of candidates or everybody. It's these are people that we have worked with over the last several years, and we've got a chance to see where they're at on Second Amendment issues, and it's just really, it's not so much a big endorsement or anything like that, but it's they're going to be cooking up burgers and hot dogs, and and answering any of those questions. But it goes back to asking them, where do you stand on this? Where do you as far as Constitution, or even in regards to federal government, is it going to be something that you're just going to buckle on, or is it just going to be how do you view me? Do you view me as a threat, or do you support my Second Amendment rights? And so yeah, it gets down to it. Asking those questions and asking more poignant questions to get a response, and getting the proper response as well.
Ryan, you and I have talked about this next item extensively on past programs, and I want you to elaborate on it again this time. I have made the point to you that I think it's absolutely frivolous and stupid to be told that you need to store the ammunition in one room and you need to have the gun locked up in another room and possibly the key put over here. In the time of an emergency, that is the most frivolous and most dangerous thing I've ever heard preached. What are your thoughts about that?
I agree. I agree. It's, you want to have, if you're going to carry a firearm, and if you're going to have a firearm in your house, have something ready. Obviously, letting people, letting any of the other family members know, where it's going to be at, keeping it out of reach of children, or anything like that. But flip side of that as well is kind of, understanding as well that, I've had that discussion with, some parents, when my kids were younger, I do have firearms around the house. They're out of reach of children, and because obviously they know where I stand on the issue. But let them know that I don't have a loaded gun on the coffee table or something like that. But and let them know that I am a responsible gun owner. But yeah, if you're going to have something, it's ridiculous to have it, have the firearm here, have the ammunition locked up here, and you want to make sure that things are safe and secure, or if you're going to be out of the house, that they're locked up and they're protected against theft or anything like that. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, it's but having a plan, where is it at? Having a plan that that your wife, or if you have teenage children who, if just in case there, something happens, and Lord willing, that something happens, that they're able to protect themselves as well, but also have that common understanding on firearms.
We have a caller with another question. Go ahead, caller. I've got a short time left. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. It's kind of in regards to concealed weapons. What about like your rifle or a long gun that you have in your vehicle? Can you cover it up with a coat when you go somewhere so it's not in plain sight, or do you have to have it out in open so a sheriff or whoever can see it? I'll hang up and listen.
That's a good question. Go ahead, Ryan.
Okay. It's interesting because that was, you'd always have a differing point of view from, I had a friend who was an officer, and he was over in Filer, and he said, no, if you get, this is, a decade or so ago, but he said, no, if you have something in a holster, he said, on seat, he said some of the officers could consider that concealed, and with it, it's interesting because now you have and I know the caller had mentioned long guns, and that's been a question over the years as well. Because at times maybe you get some young overzealous officer saying, hey, that's a concealed weapon, and in regards to a long gun, no, it's not. And now with the change in firearms, but again, I would always know the law, consult the law and just see what it is. But now that you have that change in in constitutional carry and all this, it tends to change some things. You even have, you still had some officers at one point saying, boy, do you have a fish and game license? And that was the thing for the longest time. Even to carry a firearm on your hip, they'd look at it like you should only be carrying it for hunting only. But now that mindset's kind of changing, which is great.
One final thought here this morning, Ryan, and then we'll let you go. Along with the National Rifle Association and other associations, do you think that the American public is doing enough right now to join and be supportive of these organizations so that we can keep the government at bay? Or what are your thoughts on this? Are we not doing enough or doing adequate amounts of advertising to let the public know exactly what's going on?
It's a big battle right now as they're, you try and get to demonize the NRA, into this big, huge, gun lobby and all that. And, I've even seen a lot of firearm, gun owners, start to kind of almost turn on the NRA and say, and it's like, no, it's, I like the ads they had several years ago that I am the NRA, and that this is, it's, don't let them, make it out that it is a tobacco corporation, esque, but it's a, no, it's you and me, It's I am the NRA, even if if you're not currently a member, but I am a gun owner, and you're not going to, paint me out as some a willy-nilly dangerous person, and that's where it keeps trying to get, and that's us as law-abiding citizens say, no, that is not me. You're not going to paint me in that light, and so and that's the best that they can do at this point, but it's a constant battle.
I've got about 45 seconds left. Last question. As a store that sells firearms, Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls, are they making it, they being the government and other groups, are they making it increasingly tough for you to run a legitimate business?
It's interesting because you have so much... We have so much gray area, in regards to there's a lot of this gray area that they want to almost, we constantly try and show that we're going above and beyond, in these gray areas and able, because I've seen what they've done to other people. We don't strictly go, this is the minimum we have to do. We go above and beyond. We turn down sales that we feel that are straw purchases. Because we've seen a lot of those where that's straw purchases are a gray area, but we've seen a lot of stores, get shut down, get sued, or anything like that. So there's a lot of these areas that we just have to go above and beyond in, and because they almost leave that noose for you to kind of hang yourself at some point, because then they'll come back and say, boy, hey, you're a danger to society.
Ryan, I look forward to every other week having you on the program for our Second Amendment, brought to everybody by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Ryan, excellent program this morning, and come back soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Excellent program, answering a lot of really good questions, Ryan Horsley, and I've got a lot of respect for those folks at Red's Trading Post in Twin Falls. Holy cow, we've got to get a weather forecast on now, and the weather is brought to you by Scarro's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Oh boy, I made a mistake. Let me repeat it. 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Oh my goodness, all the beef and the pork and the chicken in a what they call tax return meat bundle. You can get 70 pounds of delicious meats for only $249 plus tax. You better call them today. Your hometown meat cutter over in Jerome, Scarro's Meats, 324-7657. And now here's Gina with the weather.
Enjoy today, because it looks like we've got a storm system that's going to be sticking around for most of the weekend. Of course, today, mostly sunny skies, slightly breezy, high of 63 with an overnight low of 39. Tomorrow, as we get ready to walk on into the weekend, looks like afternoon rain showers are in the forecast. Wind's going to be picking up to about 20 miles an hour, high of 60 with an overnight low of 40. Saturday, afternoon rain showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast, high of 62 with an overnight low of 41. And then for Sunday, partly cloudy, but it is going to be windy, high of 63 with an overnight low of 40. And then as we go back to work on Monday, of course, wouldn't you know, it's going to be nice. Mostly sunny skies, high of 67, possibly 73 for next Tuesday. Yesterday's high was 57. The overnight low was 41. That is your weather for Zebeth Ranch.
She does a beautiful job, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gina. Scarro's Meats bringing us the weather at 331 North Road, Jerome. The number to call, 324-7657. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I missed I just tuned in and missed your situation here on the guns. Do you have a place you can go on your website to review what you just said, or is that lost?
No, I do. And if you'll call me on my cell phone right after the program at 312-2976. I will give you exactly how you can get a tape of that program from my webmaster, John Ellis. John does a fantastic job. He works with us every day on our program, and we'll try to get that taken care of for you.
That sounds good. Usually I'm a day late and $1 short, so I like those programs, and I was doing some other things, and I'm just caught the end of it.
Well, I'm always a day late and $1 short, and the problem is I never get the dollar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, thanks.
God bless you, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. My goodness sakes, I am so honored to have them be our major sponsor on this program. Everything we do on this show, we're sponsored by some of the very, very best people. And that's why I'm very just tickled to tell you all about 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And they've got all the tires that you need right now for safe driving this spring and summer. For your cars, your pickups, your SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever. You stop in and see them today. Many of these tires are on sale right now, like the Proxys ST2 for your pickups and SUVs, all-season traction, superior handling, and it's on sale now. Always convenient credit terms available at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best in batteries, the best in brake service and front end and shocks and alignment, everything. They've got it for you right there at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You know, and the people make the difference. They really do. And stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, and of course Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. Yep, people and service. That makes the difference right there for you at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I want to thank you for tuning in and letting us have another good week in your homes, in your offices, in your car and pickup radios. Thank you very much, and thank you for all your kind questions, etc. Next week on Monday, we start a brand new month of May, and as I said, we've got a lot of great guests lined up. Monday, of course, the open forum from 8 to 9, and then we're going to be talking to the Senior Center, Vicky's Country Garden, Alliance Defending Freedom attorneys back in Washington, along with Rod Burton, the administrator of the Cashier Regional Memorial Hospital, and many more people on Monday alone, and some surprise guests for this next week that you've heard and seen on television many times. So we're going to say have a great week, and don't forget to tune us in back Monday on 1230 KBAR, and then streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com, and I hope that you and your family are blessed and have a wonderful weekend regardless of the weather. And remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. See you Monday. God bless you.